Hello, everybody. My name's Equanimity, and I am a VRM meditation teacher for our Monday U.S. time zone sessions. I've given a few recorded lectures here on Theravada Buddhist ethics and practice, which you can find on the same channel. I have a degree in religion and philosophy. I am a Theravada Buddhist who has meditated under a few teachers, and I am also very interested in Western esotericism. This video was recorded in the VR Mystery School. It's a virtual reality space, event venue, and community for all things relating to personal development, spirituality, and mysticism. If you want to attend the weekly meditation sessions in VRM to practice and discuss a variety of meditation styles with others, visit vrmystery.school for more information. Metta is one of the Brahmaviharas, which are talked about extensively in the Nikayas. The Nikayas are texts in the Buddhist Pali Canon. They're their sacred texts. Brahma-Vihara means divine abode. They are states of mind. There's four of them: unconditional friendliness, which is metta; compassion, karuna; appreciative joy, mudita; and equanimity, upekkha. The Buddha said that the Brahmaviharas are to be cultivated without limit, since they represent wholesome mental states for oneself and others. The word metta, which is a Pali word, means loving kindness, or unconditional love, or boundless friendliness. The metta meditation itself is based on the Khuddaka Nikaya in the Karanaya Metta Sutta in the Pali Canon. However, over time, many different people, many different traditions have added on to this meditation to make it what it is today. Metta meditation is useful and beneficial for everybody, regardless of their background or interest in spirituality or Buddhism, or their degree of experience with meditation. Next, I'm going to talk about the purpose and outcomes of metta meditation. So why are we doing this in the first place? Before we can get into that, we need to understand that there are different levels of metta, depending where you are in the practice. The deepest level of metta is, and this is the ultimate goal, is to stabilize a framework of unconditional, non-ill will towards all beings, and not just all beings, but even all sensations that arise in awareness. So that's the ultimate level. What we're going to practice today, and where you need to start out, and that goes for every practitioner, no matter what their level or their status is generating the feeling of metta. It's usually centered in the chest, but it can be anywhere else in the body or the mind. This is the first step. So we want to generate this metta feeling. It's a wholesome feeling of warmth, pleasantness, and love, but not romantic type of love, like love that you have for a cherished family member or a pet. And this feeling is normally centered in the chest. However, people can experience it in other places. But the point being is that generating this feeling of metta is the first step on the metta path. So we begin the practice of metta by generating this wholesome feeling in our chest or wherever it may arise. And as we practice more, we start to see that we enter deeper levels of metta, where it's actually a whole state of being, where no matter what we experience, no matter what arises in our awareness, we have this attitude of non-ill will, and it becomes natural and habitual over time. So that's the ultimate goal. So now we'll talk about the benefits of practicing metta. The Visuddhimagga, although written hundreds of years after the original Pali Canon, is a core text for Theravada Buddhists. In the Visuddhimagga, it describes two different levels of benefits, depending on the type of practitioner you are. The first level is for lay or mundane people. These are just normal, everyday people like you and me living in society. And these benefits are more practical for people like us. And they are, for example, that metta meditation improves self-worth, becoming more comfortable with oneself. It can develop capability for empathy, love, and friendliness towards others. It can lessen anxiety and worry. It can soften and brighten face and expression. It can improve emotional intelligence and a feeling of social connection. It can increase feelings of contentment, especially self-acceptance. And through self-acceptance, that promotes healthy behavior. It can improve the quality of sleep and rest. And even in the text, it says it lessens chance for nightmares, especially when done before bed. The second level of benefits for Metta is called the supramundane benefits. And this is more for the type of Metta where it's become a framework, it's become a state of mind where you are generating this boundless friendliness towards other beings, yourself, towards all arisen sensations. And these type of benefits are, it's an antidote to ill will, which is one of the three roots of unwholesomeness in Buddhism. Doing this type of metta practice greatly benefits other forms of meditation too. It secludes the mind from hate, which is ill will, and introduces it to patience. It sustains a pleasant, wholesome mind state, which is full of energy, and that improves concentration. Metta is also a practice that can lead to absorption in the first three jhanas, the concentration jhanas, which are very concentrated, free from hindrances, free from unwholesomeness states that promote insight. Next, the Visuddhimagga talks about the characteristics of metta. So metta promotes the aspect of welfare and it dispels annoyance. The proximate cause of metta is seeing lovableness in beings. Metta is successful when it makes ill will subside, but it fails when it produces selfish affection. And lastly, the boundaries of metta are broken when one feels equal loving kindness for oneself, a loved one, a neutral person, and a hostile person. So that's the point where we're really getting experience with metta, and it's really making like a deep change in us. We went over the purpose and outcomes of metta. Now, before we get into the guided meditation, I just want to talk a little bit about how the meditation is going to go. For this guided meditation, I'm going to be talking throughout most of the meditation. This is not a concentration type of meditation. So if distractions arise, thoughts, emotions, loud sounds, or anything that might annoy you or bring impatience, don't worry about it. We're not focusing on one object. This is more of a loosely casual meditation. There's going to be a few things that, while we're going through the guided meditation, that you can alter your focus on. One of those is going to be listening to my voice. The other is going to be that feeling of metta that we're trying to generate in your body. The third is going to be whatever phrases that we use or whatever visualizations that we do. And so our attention is going to be going between these objects. And so if we can kind of like gently corral our mind and attention into these objects, that's the goal. But don't worry, don't get upset, don't get annoyed if you get distracted. If you're having a little bit of trouble focusing, it's totally fine. So if you're participating in the guided meditation, I'm going to politely ask that you take a seat, that when you're sitting, you can sit with your spine erect, so your spine is straight up towards the sky. You can rest your hands on your lap. You can intertwine your fingers, or you can do whatever's comfortable. The posture doesn't matter. The only thing that's important about the posture is that you're not too uncomfortable, where you can't focus at all because these sensations of pain are like constantly arising. So that's one extreme. We don't want that, but we also don't want the other extreme, which is drowsiness. So if you can, I know some people have injuries where they have to lay down, but if you can, try not to lay down. Try to sit with your spine straight up, because otherwise, if you lay down, that promotes drowsiness, and that's also prone to sleep. This is a closed-eyed meditation, so when we begin meditating, we're going to close our eyes. We're about to start the guided meditation, so if you're participating in the meditation, this would be a great time to pause the video and get rid of some obvious distractions, like maybe turning your phone off, closing social media, shutting the door, whatever you need to do. So now we're going to begin the guided meditation. We're going to take a comfortable position. We're going to settle the mind. We're going to be very relaxed. We're going to gently close our eyes. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths. We're relaxing all the muscles in our body. We're letting go of the stress from the day. We're in a safe space now. Let's take a deep in-breath and release. Let's take another deep in-breath and blow it out. Let's take one more deep in-breath through the nose. And blow it out. We're going to relax the expression on our face. We're going to relax the muscles in our face. We're going to let go of all the tenseness. You can even smile slightly in a natural manner. It's a gentle little smile. Emotions are especially reflected in the facial muscles. So let's take one more deep in-breath through the nose and out through the mouth on our own. Our first metta object will be more open-ended, and it can even be abstract. What we want to do is ignite the spark of metta. So our goal with this meditation today, we want to just get a little spark of metta, if not more. So our first object, you can bring to mind any person, anything that has made you feel happiness or loved recently. We want to refrain from using a person you're attracted to, so no romantic feelings. This person can be someone close to you that you really appreciate, such as a family member, can be a teacher or a good friend. You can also use yourself as well. So try to bring to mind one of these beings. You can feel the joy radiating from them. If you're having difficulty finding a person, you can bring to mind a pet, an animal, or even a fictional character. You can bring to mind the sun, any type of object that brings you happiness or makes you feel good. And of course, this is a wholesome object. So let's spend a few more moments bringing something to mind that really resonates with us. Right, now that we've found our object, let's bring them to mind. Let's try our best to keep them in our mind's eye. And we're feeling the warmth coming from this person or this being or this thing. And we want to look at them and we want to say, may you be happy. We'll say it one more time to them. May you truly be happy. And as we say this, we're also looking for this spark, this warmth, pleasantness coming from inside of us. May you be free from suffering. May you truly be free from suffering. And imagine that what you're saying is actually happening. So this person or thing is truly becoming happy. And you can see their face, you can see they're beginning to smile. This person or thing is becoming free from suffering. There's no more pain for them. There's no more suffering. There's just joy, happiness, and peace. It's the greatest gift that you can give someone. And you see in their face how grateful they are that you've given this gift to them. May you be at ease and in safety. May you be joyful at heart. May you be healthy. May your heart become soft. May your words be pleasing to others. And so we can repeat any of these that stood out to us, any of these that really made us feel warmth and pleasantness. And so let's bring some of these phrases to mind. Let's say them mentally to ourselves. Let's keep focusing on the warmth and pleasantness that's arising. Let's keep bringing to mind this person or thing that we're directing the metta to. And let's do this for another minute. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. Let's add on to this meditation. So every time you say a phrase, a metta phrase, you can imagine this brilliant, this bright white light coming from the center of your chest, reaching into this person, this being, or this thing. So every time you say one of these phrases, this light becomes stronger. There's more warmth, there's more pleasantness, there's more wholesomeness. And it's going all throughout this person or thing's being. And it's coming back to you too. So this is a two-way light. So everything that you're saying is going into this being, and it's coming back to you too, from them. So let's try this with a few more phrases. May this person or thing come to experience complete spiritual enlightenment. May they be happy. May they be generous. We can notice the release of tension in our chest. We're relaxing. There's warmth in the body. Our emotions are softening. May you be happy. We can imagine this light, this brilliant white light. It's not just stopping at this person, this being, or this thing. It's expanding. It's expanding infinitely outwards in every direction. It's making everything in it happy, joyous, peaceful, free from suffering. It's all stemming from you. And it's coming back to you as well. So for the next 2 minutes, let's keep up this meditation to ourselves, repeating these phrases, visualizing the light, the all-encompassing light of metta. right, let's come back to the breath. Let's start getting grounded back in physical reality. Feel your body sitting against the chair, the sensations of your head, your feet, your hands. Let's take a deep breath together. Deep in-breath through the nose and out through the mouth. Once more. One more time. Gently open our eyes. Take a moment to stretch, look around the room. Let's get fully grounded. You can take another deep breath if we have to. Thank you all so much for doing this guided meditation today. I wish you all happiness, peace, and freedom from suffering. And together we wish all beings happiness, peace, and freedom from suffering. Metta is a practice meant to be performed repeatedly and both on and off the cushion. Doing metta is like strengthening a muscle. So in the gym, every time you lift a weight, you're making your muscle stronger. It's becoming more habitual. It's becoming easier. It's the same thing with metta. The more that you generate metta, the easier it comes about on its own and the stronger it gets. Metta is a practice which can be done both on and off the cushion. So that's what makes this meditation so great, or this feeling is so wholesome, because we can do it in our everyday lives and it positively affects us and those around us. And so as we become more proficient in generating metta, it'll arise more easily on its own throughout the day. As we keep practicing metta and we get better at it, we can then expand our objects from people, beings, or things that we like or that we feel love towards. We can move on to things that are neutral or people that are neutral, like a gas station attendant or someone working in a grocery store that we met for the first time. And once we're able to generate metta for these people, then we can move on to generate metta for people that we might feel hostility towards, maybe a bully from our childhood or someone who hasn't treated us right. Once we're able to generate metta for these people, we can go further to generating metta for all beings, no matter who they are, no matter what they did. We just have this feeling of boundless friendliness towards all beings. It doesn't matter. It's just a giving, boundless friendliness for everybody. No discrimination. So that's ultimately where we want to get to. We have some frequently asked questions that I'll provide some answers for. The first question is, if I'm having difficulty wishing and feeling metta for someone, is there something I can do? And the answer to that is, well, this question is probably referring to maybe someone neutral or someone that the meditator feels hostile towards, someone who maybe have wronged them in the past. So when you're dealing with these type of people, what you can do is think about if this person were feeling kindness, if they were happy, if they were at peace, they wouldn't be acting unwholesomely. So if you can imagine, if they were mindful, if they were safe, if they were at ease, wouldn't they be exhibiting wholesomeness? Wouldn't they be exhibiting wholesome behaviors? So if you take it to the extreme, if this hostile person, because of you wishing them metta, became perfectly happy, perfectly at peace, then the conclusion is that they would not be acting unwholesomely whatsoever. So you can try thinking of that. You can also try imagining a time in this person's past when they were young, maybe right after they were born or a little bit older, when they were young and innocent, before like the harsh realities of life or suffering occurred to them, which is making them act or talk in the hostile ways that they do. Sometimes you might have to go back to when they were just born, like right out of the womb with a clean slate. They're completely innocent. They're completely open to this experience of a new world. They're coming from a place of pureness. So it helps a lot of the time to imagine this hostile person like really young or just being born before anything like really bad happened to them, which is causing them to act the way they do. Lastly, you can remember that this hostile person's, that their anger or however they wronged you, it's going to generate karma, which is cause and effect. It's going to come back and bite them. But this isn't something that we're happy about. We're not happy that karma is coming back to this person, but we're trying to reduce our ill will with compassion. So we're starting to feel compassion towards this person because we know it's just the law of the universe that their actions will be coming back to them at some point. And so we're using whatever tools we can to break down this hostility and get to a place of metta and compassion for difficult people. The second FAQ question that a lot of people experience is that they're not able to generate metta even for agreeable beings or things. And they want advice for if there's any tips on how to do that. And so my advice is go about your day and be mindful of any time that you feel happiness, that someone else or something has given you happiness, and observe the sensations of warmth and pleasantness, whatever it may be. And I'm talking about wholesome things, not unwholesome things. So I'm talking about maybe someone saying something nice to you, or if you were looking at pictures and you saw a picture that was really meaningful to you and you started feeling nice and happy about it. So those type of things. So just be mindful of that sensation, and that's what you want to basically recreate. And we do that through thoughts, through these words in metta, through these phrases, through these visualizations. So we're basically just stimulating that metta response. And then eventually, over time, it'll become easier. It'll become habitual. It'll become almost effortless, and it'll become really strong. So in summary, as you go about your day, just be mindful and observe any time that you feel happiness or joy or peace or compassion through wholesome things, through wholesome actions from other people, through pictures or anything like that. And you just have to practice and give it time, and eventually it'll become easy to generate. The next FAQ question, if someone yells insults to my face, how do I practice metta in response? So we're talking about an extreme example here where there's another person, for whatever reason, is either cursing you or putting you down or insulting you in some form or another. How are we supposed to practice metta? So we're off the cushion at this point. We're in daily life. To practice metta in this type of situation, it's very difficult. It takes a lot of practice on the cushion to be able to generate this metta state in general. But from a Theravada Buddhist point of view, we need to understand the whole Buddhist framework for how it's even possible to show metta in this type of situation. It's not something you can force. In Buddhism, there's something called right view, and right view is basically seeing the ultimate reality. We're seeing through the concepts of our everyday life. And so if we want to analyze this situation through ultimate reality, first let's start with conceptual reality, because that'll make the most sense to us. So in this type of situation, we feel like that there's an I or a me standing over here, while there's someone else, another person standing over there, and this person is saying words that are insulting, that are hurtful, that are embarrassing, directed towards me, and it doesn't feel good. It's hurting my ego. If there's other people around, they may be laughing or chiming in. So this is the conceptual situation. But from a Buddhist viewpoint, we see things through the lens of ultimate reality. So we break through the concepts, and what's actually happening is there's a bunch of moments of experience involving sensations that are arising and ceasing. So what's happening in this situation is there's the sensations of sight, and there's an object in our sensations of sight, which is arising, and that's this other hostile person. There's the sensations of our own thoughts, of our own body arising as well and ceasing. There's hearing, which is the words that are being said, the insults, the curses. So there's hearing. So we experience hearing, these moments of hearing. Then we experience these moments of disliking or pain or embarrassment, which come from us processing hearing. At its base level, all of these sensations that are arising and ceasing that make up our experience are empty, are devoid of substantial self or soul. So when we look at the world through this perspective, it becomes apparent how we can practice metta through the lens of ultimate reality. Because we're not seeing a being over there, we're not seeing ourselves as this substantial permanent thing over here. We're not seeing these words as a permanent thing. We're seeing through to the ultimate reality. So we can practice this boundless friendliness to all of these sensations that make up our experience. So that happens when you break everything down to ultimate reality. And that's called right view in Buddhism. I'm going to read a few examples of what the Buddhist perspective is on, say, the situation and how to react in this type of situation. One who repays an angry man with anger thereby makes things worse for himself. Not repaying an angry man with anger, one wins a battle hard to win. He practices for the welfare of both, his own and the others, when, knowing that his foe is angry, he mindfully maintains his peace. And so as we can see, that there's a huge perspective shift in Buddhism for what's ultimately real, and giving the reasons for why and how it's possible to show metta, boundless friendliness, in any type of circumstance for all beings. That concludes the FAQ section for today. I wanted to thank everybody for watching this video. To those who participated in the guided meditation, thank you so much. Remember that metta is a practice to do regularly for the greatest benefit. It's like working out a muscle. The more you do it, the more easily metta will be able to be generated, and the more likely you'll be able to do it in your everyday life on and off the cushion. Consider joining the weekly sessions at VR Mystery School to practice and discuss with others. There's more info in the description. There, you will also find links for more information on the VR Mystery School project, how to visit the VR space, and how to support the project as a volunteer, Patreon supporter, or by making a one-time donation. So until next time, thank you all.